I didn't expect my beautiful and charming wife to have such a chaotic private life. My wife gave birth to triplets, each with a different father. It's utterly outrageous. I never imagined that my beautiful and charming wife would lead such a chaotic private life behind my back. Betrayal. Infidelity. Power and sex transactions. The moment the truth is revealed, I swear, all betrayers must pay with their lives. Late night. I was parking in the underground garage when I suddenly received a friend request from a stranger on my phone, with a note saying, "I have private videos of your wife." At first, I didn't take it seriously, thinking it was a scam. Just as I was about to lock the car and head upstairs, the stranger sent another message, accompanied by a surreptitious photo. The image was quite clear. It was taken in a gym. On a yoga mat, my wife Fang Qing was sitting on a man's lap. She was tilting her head back, biting her red lips, with a charming and indulgent expression on her beautiful face. I felt as if I had fallen into an ice cave, my limbs going weak. My gentle and virtuous wife had betrayed me like this. I gritted my teeth, wanting to see the man's face, but unfortunately, the photo was obviously edited, completely hiding his appearance. Even the gym's name was not visible. Bang! I clenched my fist and slammed it against the car door. My overwhelming anger made me want to rush home and confront Fang Qing. But the last shred of reason held me back. No way! Fang Qing had just given birth to triplets. Our married life was harmonious, and our family was happy. Why would she cheat? Was the photo fabricated? Ignoring the pain in my hand, I accepted the friend request and asked, "Who are you? Where did you get that photo?" The stranger replied, "Do you think I would tell you? What do you want?" I was furious. The stranger sent a bank account number and bluntly stated, "Transfer 50,000 to this account before midnight, and for now, I can guarantee these photos won't be exposed." I was agitated. "You must be dreaming. I will report you. This is blackmail." "Har, Liu Feng, you will think about it. And you won't dare to report me." After that, the stranger stopped responding. No matter how much I cursed or sent voice messages, he didn't reply. I suspected it was a fake account. He had clearly switched accounts. He knew my name and details, but I had no idea who he was, making me feel uneasy. This feeling was quite discomforting. I was so angry I almost smashed my phone, but I gritted my teeth and began checking the stranger's WeChat profile. First, the moments unsurprisingly, I was blocked and couldn't see anything. Next, the WeChat ID and nickname. The ID was a string of letters, and the nickname was Mr. Z. There were no leads. Since he dared to add me on WeChat, he clearly wouldn't reveal any information. Standing in the garage, my gaze flickered as I smoked a few cigarettes before heading upstairs. Who was he? What did he want? Just for 50,000. And did Fang Qing really cheat? Was that photo real? If it was true, what would I do? I suddenly had a bad premonition. My name is Liu Feng. After graduating from university, I joined Xingye Real Estate as a salesperson. After years of hard work, I finally became the sales manager. I have a house and a car. Although I have loans, I consider myself successful. As for my family, my wife Fang Qing is kind and beautiful, my best support. We were college classmates, and after graduation, we worked in the same company. However, when I was promoted, she chose to step back and became a stay-at-home mom. So I am very grateful to her. We have been loving each other for years. Fang Qing is a beautiful and smart woman. She is tall, has fair skin, and exudes a special charm in her professional attire. Moreover, she comes from a wealthy family. Her family is local and part of a big clan. To be honest, I only learned about her wealth after we got married. Typically, a woman like her wouldn't be with a poor guy like me, yet we fell in love, and she defied her family to be with me. So even when that stranger sent the photo, I couldn't believe Fang Qing would betray me. When I got home, Fang Qing was doing yoga. Wearing yoga pants, her alluring figure was incredibly enticing. Normally, I would have rushed to her and taken her to the bedroom, but today, just thinking about that photo made me uneasy. Fang Qing lifted her long legs above her head, glanced at me, and said, Liu Feng, you go wash up first. I'll be done in 10 minutes. Okay. I nodded but didn't move, sitting on the sofa and instinctively pulling out a cigarette, even though I was already numb from smoking. The photo, the gym, the yoga mat. Could it be related to the yoga class she recently signed up for? After giving birth, Fang Qing tried various beauty treatments but still felt her body wasn't back to normal. This yoga class cost over 20,000 for a year. Although the yoga mat in the photo didn't look like ours, it was in a gym. Could it be? My mind was racing with thoughts when I suddenly noticed Fang Qing standing right in front of me, bending down, her ample cleavage in full view. She waved at me, puzzled. "Hey, Liu Feng, why are you in a daze? I called you, and you didn't respond." "I'm a bit tired, just resting." My inner fire slipped through despite my efforts to control it. Seeing my unusual expression, Fang Qing wasn't angry. Instead, she came behind me, pressed her hands on my shoulders, and gently said, "Is work too stressful? All right, now that we're home, just forget all the troubles from work. There's a surprise tonight. I prepared your favorite nurse outfit." Noticing my lack of enthusiasm, Fang Qing leaned close to my ear and whispered temptingly. Looking at her delicate face and playful smile, my heart softened instantly. I became more convinced that Fang Qing would not cheat. That photo must be fake. In fact, I even felt a bit guilty. We had 3 sons together after so many years of love, how could I doubt my wife? Understanding this, I picked Fang Qing up in a princess carry and headed to the bathroom. "What are you doing? Stop it, put me down. Let us take a bath together, a couple-s bath." "Oh, I don't want to. You're so annoying." Half an hour later, seeing Fang Qing in a nurse outfit sleeping sweetly in my arms, I felt much more at ease. Just as I was about to sleep, my phone suddenly received a message. Chapter 2, Nice Figure. 1 hour left. It was Mr. Z messaging me. His address showed Andauer, clearly indicating he was a scammer. But regardless of whether the photo was real or not, I had to consider my wife Fang Qing's reputation. "I won't transfer any money unless I can confirm that the photo is real," I replied. The other party went silent for a long time before responding. "Har, Liu Feng, I'll be in touch." After that, there was no response. I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. The tone of his message suggested he was quite confident. I felt conflicted. Could it be true that Fang Qing had really cheated on me? The next day at work, as soon as I arrived, I called Xu Lang. Xu Lang was an old classmate who worked as a manager at the bank. The card number just happened to belong to their bank. "Hello, buddy, what's up?" Xu Lang answered. "I need you to check the account holder's information for a card number," I said. Xu Lang replied seriously, "Come on, you're asking me to do something illegal. Customer information is confidential, I can't disclose it." I snapped back, "Stop pretending. This guy is a scammer trying to extort 50,000 from me. Just check it out and let me know, and I'll treat you to a late night snack tonight." "Hey, don't just end the call like that, I haven't even agreed yet. Liu Feng, you're such a pain." Before Xu Lang could finish, I hung up. I intended to wait for Xu Lang to gather the account holder's information before considering reporting it. However, during the company meeting at noon, things took a turn for the worse. It was a routine meeting. Our company had recently acquired a new project, and as the sales manager, I needed to present the marketing plan to the higher-ups. I had prepared the PowerPoint the day before. But when I started the presentation, the first thing that played was a woman's moaning voice. Then, a video of a couple appeared on the projector. The woman in the video was none other than my wife, Fang Qing. In an instant, my mind went blank, and I felt as if all my strength had drained away. "Hey, isn't he that Liu Feng's wife, Fang Qing? Har, she has a great figure. Liu Feng, you're so generous, sharing private videos of you and your wife with everyone." Cough, Liu must have played the wrong video. Not only the higher-ups, but even my arch-rivals, Gong Yu and Dong Haitao, were mocking me, pulling out their phones to record. I felt icy cold, my limbs going weak. If this video got out, my reputation would be ruined. They still didn't know that the man in the video wasn't me. Fang Qing had cheated, and the evidence was being played in front of everyone at our company meeting. It felt like the sky was collapsing. "It was my mistake, I'm so sorry." While I was still in shock, my apprentice, Sun Yining, quickly turned off the projector and apologized to everyone, swiftly switching back to the regular PowerPoint. "Master." Sun Yining urgently gestured at me. But I was in complete emotional turmoil and didn't respond. "There is no way," Sun Yining had to take the initiative to replace me, explaining, "Our new project Linjiang Mansion property, the current marketing plan is divided into 3 steps. The first. Until the end of the meeting, my entire head was still buzzing. If last night's photo was P, but what about the video? This can't be fake, right? It was already a fact that my wife Fang Qing had cheated on me, and what made me feel even more horrified was who had secretly replaced my PPT. The PPT of this marketing program was done by me yesterday, after work, existed in the computer file, can move my computer, only the company's people. He replaced the content in the PPT, just to make me make a fool of myself today. Who is this person? Is it the same person as the one who sent the photo last night? My heart was hurting and my head was confused. At this time, I received another message on my cell phone, surprised. Stinging or not? Oh, before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, put $100,000 into the account. Otherwise, the next surprise may be even bigger. Oh. The one who sent the message was exactly that Mr. Z. The PPT was swapped, it was really him. I tried my best to restrain my emotions, but I still couldn't hold back and cursed, "I'm so fucked up, let me know who you are, I'll kill your whole family." But there was no reply from the other party, no matter how abusive I was. "Master, are you alright?" Sun Yining walked over and waved her small hand in front of me. I gritted my teeth and said, "It's fine, do you know who touched my computer after I left from work yesterday?" Sun Yining was confused for a moment and said, "I don't know, I left after 5, at that time, there was no one in the company. Master, you suspect that someone tampered with the PPT?" Well, the content was replaced. I clenched my fists and took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. At this time, it was even more important for me to be calm. The other party was able to touch my computer, so he must be someone in the company, and there were only 2 enemies of mine in the company. One is Gong Yu, who is also in the sales department, and the other is Dong Haitao from the finance office. The way they acted in the conference room today shows that this matter definitely has something to do with them. But the main reason they were able to get me through this is that my wife, Fang Qing, cheated on me. If she didn't cheat, what kind of leverage can they use to threaten me? $100,000. I have to call before 4 o'clock. I hesitated for a long time, and finally put the money over, did not choose to call the police. Because I couldn't afford the consequences of calling the police. Fang Qing. This splatter. I was both heartbroken and angry. The moment I thought of that image in the video in my mind, I couldn't help myself and grabbed my car keys and left. "Master, what are you doing?" "Going home, take my vacation." I walked out of the company without looking back and drove the car. I couldn't wait to rush home and question her face to face. But then I was afraid that the result I would get would be yes. Why? Why did she cheat on me and cuckold me? All these years, am I not good enough for her? My whole mentality has collapsed, and I am so aggrieved that I have tears in my eyes. A man's tears are not light, just before the sad time. I bit my lip and desperately reminded myself. Calm, must be calm. Although I hated to kill Fang Qing, this bitch and adulterer, I knew that impulsiveness couldn't solve the problem. It was only when I was almost home that I gradually stabilized my emotions and called Fang Qing over. "Hey, husband." I asked, "Where are you?" "I'm at home, just finished feeding the baby formula, what's wrong?" "Get ready, I'll be home in 5 minutes." After saying that, I hung up the phone. Chapter 3: Deadly Denial. When I arrived at the door of the house, I was a little hesitant. Because I was so focused on my anger and pain, I didn't even think about how exactly I was going to show my hand to Fang Qing. But after only a few seconds of hesitation, I decisively opened the door and rushed in, angrily roaring, "Fang Qing, you stinking bitch." I just cursed out my words and froze. Because there is no one at home, the living room is empty, the balcony, the kitchen, no one. Only the bedroom crib, triplets' 3 sons, lying there quietly sleeping, one of them also biting the pacifier, is sleeping sweetly. Before entering the door, I even had the intention of killing Fang Qing, but when I saw the 3 sons, my heart suddenly softened. Murder is against the law. If I really die with Fang Qing, what will happen to the 3 children? I am thinking nonsense when his wife Fang Qing panicked and pushed the door in, her face red, apparently all the way back to run, see me, inexplicably panicked. "Husband, how did you suddenly come back?" I grimly said, "Go out and talk." Sitting on the sofa, I smoked a cigarette and tried hard to calm down. At the moment, my face was so gloomy that it was scary. My wife, Fang Qing, also sensed it and said sheepishly, "Hubby, what are you doing? I know I secretly go out to play mahjong is not right, but this is not at home board, son also coaxed to sleep." I frowned and said, "Is this what I want to talk to you about? Fang Qing, it's come to this point, is it fun to act?" Fang Qing was puzzled. "What? How come I don't understand?" He, still pretending? I stared at her, my gaze icy cold. "Do you want me to tear my face off and tell everything? Liu Feng, are you sick?" "Yes, I went out to play mahjong, what's wrong? Did I break the law? Is it necessary for you to treat me like you're interrogating a prisoner?" Fang Qing also got angry and clasped her hands in front of her chest in a "I'm just like that" stance. I couldn't suppress my inner rage, pulled out my cell phone, directly flipped out the photo from last night, threw it onto the sofa in front of her, and said in a cold voice, "Take a look for yourself, you didn't break the law, but you stepped on a horse and cheated on me." "What cheating?" Fang Qing flinched for a moment and picked up the phone. Her face obviously changed color slightly for a moment, but soon, she said wryly, "Liu Feng, what do you mean by this? You suspect that the woman in the photo is me? Could it not be? Don't tell me that you have a twin sister." I sneered. "Childish." Fang Qing didn't panic and laughed equally coldly, saying, "Do you know that there is something called PS on the internet? If you want a photo like this, I can get you a dozen or so in a minute. Do you believe me?" After saying that, Fang Qing threw her cell phone to the side, not caring at all. Looking at her attitude, I was so angry that I gritted my teeth. "I knew you would say that." From my cell phone, I called up the PPT video from the conference room at noon, clicked play and put it directly in front of Fang Qing. The light in the video was dim, but the picture was very clear, especially when Fang Qing looked back in the video, that flavorful and flirty look that I will always remember. After seeing the video, Fang Qing instantly stopped talking, her eyebrows furrowed and she snatched the phone over. Sure enough, she panicked. "It's useless to delete it, there's a backup in my company's computer." I sneered. However, Fang Qing didn't pay any attention to me. Instead, her finger was on the screen, constantly pulling the video back and forth, and after a moment, she looked up at me and said, "Liu Feng, I don't know where you got this video from, and I do admit that the video is very realistically done. The AI technology nowadays is indeed amazing. But I can swear that the woman in the video is definitely not me." The evidence was all conclusive, but Fang Qing just refused to admit it. I was both sad and angry inside, and emotionally agitated. "You swear? I'll believe you if you swear? Do you think I'm a breaking pen? The evidence is in front of you, but you still want to argue, don't you? Tell me, who is that man? Who is it?" "Liu Feng." Fang Qing shouted out, but looking at me, she tried to calm down again, biting her lip and said, "Liu Feng, you're too nonchalant right now, I don't think it's pointless to continue arguing with you. You make so much, just want to force me to divorce you. Fine, I promise you, divorce." Divorce. Hearing those two words, my mind buzzed. Fang Qing and I had never considered the possibility of divorce from the time we fell in love to the time we got married, 7 years of relationship, but I never thought that it would come out of her mouth today so easily. Did she plan this a long time ago? Always thought, I can marry Fang Qing, so beautiful, virtuous woman, is the biggest blessing in my life. Now it seems to be the biggest joke. So what if she's pretty? So what if you have a good figure and a good face? The family is in good condition, so I don't care at all. This is even less of a reason for Fang Qing to be able to cuckold me. I clamped the cigarette hand trembling, staring at Fang Qing, questioned, "You have long thought about it, is it? Okay, divorce is fine, but the 3 sons have to belong to me." Fang Qing, however, was horribly calm and said, "On what grounds? The sons are mine, not yours. Liu Feng, I'll tell you one last time, I want to divorce you, not because I did something wrong to you, but because you forced me to. You're the one who's being a pain in the ass, you're the one who's looking for trouble, you understand? I'm a nuisance. I have nothing to do." Oh. Hearing this, I want to laugh. You don't admit that you've cuckolded me, but now you're hitting me with a rake. Why didn't I realize that Fang Qing was such a woman before? Lover's eyes, perhaps I myself love her too much, invariably automatically narrowed down these shortcomings in her body. After Fang Qing finished speaking, she got up and carried her bag and went out. I did not go to chase her, sitting alone in the living room, one after another smoking cigarettes. To be honest, do you really want a divorce? I haven't even thought about it. However, if I don't divorce, Fang Qing has already cuckolded me, this matter, as if it is like countless knives in general, all the time in my heart, let me pain and grief. Ding bell. I am suffering a lot of time, the cell phone rang. Pick up, opposite came Shulang's voice, buddy, the information check out, but the open card account shows, over there is in Minchin a very remote county R, and the head of household is a minor child. I guess R, this is the person to buy the bank card account, at all almost his own. Minchin, a place I've never even heard of. Since the other side to extortion, certainly will not leave the real information, now trafficking bank cards, WeChat grey industry a whole lot, from this aspect, certainly cannot be found. The clue is broken, but it does not matter, because the money I have already called. Thanks buddy, invite you to dinner next time, I'm busy today. You big man, I'm missing you this meal R. By the way, I saw someone transferring $100,000 from this card in the afternoon, it's not like you've been cheated, right? No, I still have something to do, talk to you again. I hung up the phone in a hurry, now I don't have time to care if the other party is a scam or not. Fang Qing wants to divorce me, what should I do now? It was at this moment that a message from Mr. Z, once again, was sent to my phone, which read, "You're very honest, so I'll give you a little reward. Guess, which of your triplet sons is your own?" When I saw this message, I immediately fell into an ice cellar. Chapter 4, Personal Identification. Fang Qing gave me triplets, 3 sons, could it be that some of them are not my own? How is this possible? My brain was in turmoil, and I suddenly remembered that when we had just quarreled, Fang Qing had explicitly said, "The child is not yours." At that time, I was so angry that I didn't pay any attention to this sentence. Now that I think about it, I just feel cold all over. If any of the 3 sons were not born to me, wouldn't that mean that Fang Qing had already cheated on me? My palms trembled, and I was a bit unsure if I should believe the message sent by that Mr. Z, or Fang Qing. But inwardly, I was more inclined to believe the message in the cell phone. What should I do? Right. Paternity test. I snapped out of it. To prove that Mr. Z's words are true or false, wouldn't a paternity test make everything clear? Moreover, with the hard evidence of Fang Qing's cheating, at that time, I'll see how she can still argue. Sitting on the sofa in the living room, I inhaled a few puffs of smoke, extinguished the cigarette and got up to go to the bedroom. In the crib, the 3 sons were sleeping soundly. The eldest son Liu Che, the second son Liu Sheng, the youngest son Liu Zhe. When the triplets were born, my parents were very happy, and even my grandfather was so excited that he turned over the genealogy of the night to take these 3 names. But when I think of the 3 sons, there is a possibility that one of them is not my biological, I have a pain in my heart. Paternity test needs to be hair or blood, the 3 sons are still small, all just turned 1 year old, I found a small scissors, will be the 3 sons of the haircut a little down, respectively, in 3 small bags, with a label noted. I was very careful where I cut it, and it is usually undetectable. Before I got the paternity test report, I didn't want Fang Qing to know about this yet. Cuckolding me, even my son is not her own, how much has Fang Qing hidden from me? No matter what, I have to make things clear, moreover, I have to hide it from Fang Qing. The first time I got the hair, I went out, and in the car, I looked for the nearest paternity genetic identification company. "Hello sir, may I ask if you're looking for a consultation?" Just entering the door, a receptionist beauty immediately greeted me. I asked, "Well, I want to do a paternity test, it has to be secretive and quick, where do I pay?" Front desk beauty smiled, "Sir, it seems that you do not know much about paternity testing. We are formal paternity testing organization, generally divided into 3 kinds of judicial appraisal, is used for household registration, immigration, legal proceedings. Personal privacy appraisal is as the maintenance of the family appraisal credentials, also has legal effect. The last type is non-invasive fetal identification. This is the need to know in advance the biological father of the fetus, the use of the same as personal privacy identification. You see, which one do you need to do? She said a whole lot, but I easily understood it and said, personal privacy identification. Okay sir, please come over here and we'll register you. Our personal privacy appraisal, we also have to determine the price based on the sample you provide and whether it's expedited or not. The front desk beauty helped me register my information while introducing the price list. I scanned it and said, just the regular hair samples, 3, expedited, how much in total? That still needs to collect your samples, wait a moment, I'll do the math. The receptionist beauty lowered her head, their computer keyboard crackled for a while, then raised her head and said, "Hello Mr. Liu, the cost of a single sample appraisal is 3,000, if you expedite it, it is 5,200, a total of $10,600, do you think it's okay?" More than $10,000, although a bit expensive. But for the sake of the truth of the matter, I gritted my teeth and swept the code to pay, and said, "How long will it take to get the results?" "Normal is 3-5 working days, I will try to help you arrange earlier, out of the results, the first time to notify you." I hesitated and said, "Okay, my information." "Mr. Liu, you can rest assured that we are formal appraisal agency, for the customer is a one-on-one private service, so your information, we are absolutely not leaked. By the way, my name is Li, I add your WeChat can." Li said with a smile like a flower. I nodded and passed her friend request. But I didn't expect that later I would have so many stories with this Li. From the paternity testing company just came out, I received a call from the company. The one who called was Uncle Wen, the vice president of the company and also my master. I picked up and said, "Hey, master. What are you doing? Going to work and saying you're leaving?" Uncle Wen asked dryly. "I took a vacation hour." On the phone, Uncle Wen scolded, "Who did you take leave from? Did I approve it?" "Liu Feng, I think you're getting more and more bold. You don't know that a leader from the head office is coming over to inspect in the afternoon. You're not at your post at a critical time, what do you think of you?" "What inspection? I didn't get the notice R." I was a little puzzled. "Administration Department Xiao Wang, last night sent a notice R, he did not notify you." "No, I know master, this is back to the company." "Hurry up, 10 minutes can't see you people, tomorrow get the hell out of here." A leader from the head office came down for an inspection. I actually didn't receive a notification. There must be a problem here, someone is deliberately trying to fix me. Can do this kind of thing, it is estimated that Gong Yu and Dong Haitao. But at the moment, I simply do not have the heart to care about them. Wai Fang Qing cheating, triplet son may not be my biological, this is the most heartbreaking place for me. After rushing to the company, I just happened to pass by the administration department and saw Sun Yao, the assistant responsible for conveying notices. This person was Gong Yu's lover. "Sun Yao, the company has a leader coming down for an inspection, how come I didn't receive a notification?" I casually asked. Sun Yao sat there stoned on melon seeds, showing a confused expression. I didn't notify your sales department." "No," I said with a cold face. Only then did Sun Yao open her computer and looked at it. "Oops, that might be because we were busy and forgot." "Oh, I'm sorry our manager Liu, look, should I make up for it once now?" "No need." I stared at Sun Yao and said in a cold voice, "Sun Yao do things sometimes use your brain, you give people as a gun, have you ever thought that this gun can be easily broken?" Hearing this, Sun Yao immediately slapped the table, stood up, and said in a conspiratorial manner, "Ouch manager Liu, are you teaching me how to do things? I just made a mistake at work and forgot to inform you last night, right? What's the matter, you want to fire me?" Her voice was very loud, immediately attracted the eyes of many people in the office. I knew that it was useless to argue at this time, and it was unlikely that the administration department would fire her for such a small matter. Sun Yao knows how to disgust people, she likes to help Gong Yu and use this little power in her hand to put small shoes on me. Be good. I threw down a sentence, and didn't bother with Sun Yao, hurriedly rushing towards the sales department. Chapter 5. A little impatience makes a big difference. As a result, by the time I arrived, the leader of the head office had already left. Uncle Wen called me to his office. It was obvious that his face looked very bad. I knew that he was disappointed in me, and quickly took the initiative to make tea, brewed it and handed him a cup, saying, "Master, it's not so bad, isn't it just that I didn't show my face in front of the head office leaders? I originally didn't like this kind of flattery scene either." "What do you know?" Uncle Wen glanced at me, said in a bad mood, "Today come the core senior management of the head office, the relationship is good, in the future it will help all of you to promote. You can't see that Gong Yu and Dong Haitao can't wait to kneel down and shout at their father. And you? People are not there, I would have wanted you to show your face, all for nothing." I laughed, "Forget it, I don't care about that, just do your part." Uncle Wen looked at me, all a bit hateful, helplessly said, "You are just too honest, in this society, honest people are the most likely to suffer." By the way, you said on the phone that the administration department didn't notify you? I was silent for a while and said, Sun Yao messed up, forget it, I can handle it myself. If I can't handle such a small matter and I need Uncle Wen to step in, that proves that I'm really a failure. Uncle Wen nodded his head, obviously trusting me as well, and said, then you can handle it yourself. Liu Feng, you remember, it's nothing to be an employee at the bottom, but if you want to make it to the management level, you need to have the means to make people fear you. Otherwise you're all smiles with everyone, that's no majesty at all. I know, master. Well, how is the child? Does it make any noise at night? Uncle Wen casually asked. He was asking about my triplet sons, but I'm not even sure myself now, the 3 sons, whether they are my own or not. I felt a stabbing pain in my heart and said stiffly, quite good. Bring them over for dinner on the weekend, your teacher's wife is always thinking of holding grandchildren. Good. Simply chat a few words, I went back to my office. The company's administrative department and sales department is the most important 2 departments. Theoretically speaking, the administrative department position on the higher, but the sales department is the most easy to produce results. The company a lot of high level are from the sales department rows. I thought for a while, and immediately called Ju Wen over. Manager, you're looking for me? Ju Wen quickly knocked on the door and came in. I said, aren't we meeting Mr. Guo of Deep Blue International for dinner tomorrow night? When the time comes, you pick 2 people in the administration department and remember to call Sun Yao up. However, don't tell her that I'll be there too. Manager, why? Ju Wen didn't understand and asked in surprise. I smiled, don't ask, do what I tell you, and when you're done, I'll let you go on this project for Mr. Guo. Ju Wen excitedly said, okay, thank you manager, I understand, don't ask anything. Go do something. I waved my hand, not really caring. It wasn't easy for Sun Yao to put shoes on me for Gong Yu, but it was too easy for me to deal with a small assistant of hers. After a busy afternoon of dealing with the matters at hand, I got off work and went home. When I arrived at the door of my home, the thought of the video of my wife Fang Qing cheating on me was very difficult. The photos can be PS'd, and the video can be AI synthesized, but the paternity test, it can't be fake, right? I am now waiting for the results of the paternity test. When the results come out, I want to see Fang Qing then how to sophistry. But for the time being, I can only endure for a few days. A little impatience is a big plan. Originally I had thought about how to face Fang Qing after returning home, but to my surprise, after entering the door, there was no one at home. Fang Qing was not at home, and even took the baby with her. Diapers, milk powder, bottles and so on, all cleaned up. Strangely enough, without seeing anyone, I felt a lot calmer inside. But what did she mean by taking the baby away? Standing on the balcony, I smoked a cigarette and called Fang Qing, but she didn't answer. After thinking about it, I called my mother-in-law's cell phone again. Sure enough, my mother-in-law answered the phone. Hey, Liu Feng, it's me. Qing Qing said she came back to stay for a few days, and Fang Peng and I went to pick her up. Oh, didn't she tell you? Okay, Mom, I'm busy with the company for the past 2 days, I'll pick her up and bring her back on the weekend, okay. Oh, good, ouch, my little ancestor, oh, that can't be eaten. Hey Liu Feng, I don't talk to you the child made a mess. Mother-in-law finished, hurriedly hung up the phone. I didn't care too much, although I rarely quarrel with Fang Qing, but between husband and wife, there will always be a blush, every time she will run back to her mother's home to live for a few days, and then wait for me to make amends and apologize. Dinner hadn't been eaten yet, I had planned to cook a meal myself, but the refrigerator was empty, there were no dishes whatsoever, and the kitchen was a mess. I looked at it for half a day and helplessly called Shulang, have you had dinner yet? Shulang's side seems to be on the street, walking while spitting. No, shit, after counting the counter still have to have a meeting, just got off work. What, you want to treat me to dinner? Yeah, last time I promised you, come out and eat, see you at the usual place. Okay, this iron rooster is not easy to treat you, I have to give you a good meal. Hey, I also have a good thing to look for you, meet and talk, I drive. Okay. Hanging up the phone, I went out. Shulang said I'm an iron rooster, and that's true. But there's no way around it. Ever since we got married, Fang Qing has been controlling my pocket money to death. She accurately calculated my monthly expenses, phone bills, gas, cigarettes, etc., never more than $500, because she said, men with money become bad. I don't have any concept of money, and I think it's appropriate for her to take care of it since we're a couple. To be honest, over the years, I don't even know how much savings my family has. But now think about it, I suddenly a little afraid, in case Fang Qing really want to divorce me, I will not be able to share a penny. Is all of this designed by her long ago? Did she think of divorce a long time ago? If that's true, how deep is Fang Qing's mind? It's impossible. I firmly believe that Fang Qing and I have an emotional foundation over the years, otherwise, my marriage would be a failure. Forget it, the more I think about it, the more painful it is for me. Everything is better to wait for the paternity test result to come out. I put aside these worries for the time being and walked out of the house. Shu Lang and I agreed to the old place is a Sichuan restaurant. In the past when we studied, we often go there to improve the food. After arriving at the store, I directly ordered for 5 dishes, and when the dishes came up, Shu Lang just arrived. Shu Lang, my high school classmate and best friend. After graduating from college, we all went back to our hometown, but he mixed better than me, in the bank as an account manager, that is, the bank is the most inside, responsible for VIP customers of the kind. His family is also doing hardware and building materials business, the scale is not small, can be regarded as a rich second generation, but I do not know how his parents think, must Shu Lang into the system. A meeting, Shu Lang sat on the side of me, teasingly asked, "What, today so extravagant, but also ordered for dishes, the day is not." Chapter 6 This person NA is so cheap. I, however, didn't have the heart to joke with him, and directly closed the compartment door, then handed him a cigarette and said, "Sit down." "What's wrong?" Shu Lang saw that my mood was not quite right and asked. I smoked a cigarette and was silent for a long time before saying, "I feel like Fang Qing cheated on me." Something like a wife cheating on her husband is a great humiliation for a man. If it was someone else, I definitely wouldn't have the face to say it, but Shu Lang was different. After he heard it, he froze for a moment, and actually wasn't surprised at all. Instead he was very calm and looked at me and said, "Little Feng, remember what I told you before you and Fang Qing got married? You advised me to reconsider the expedition." I replied. Back then, when Fang Qing and I were about to get married, Shu Lang had privately approached me and asked me to carefully consider it, but at that time, I had already been overwhelmed by love, and to be able to marry such a beautiful wife as Fang Qing, and her family's condition was even better than mine, so what reason did I have to reject it? So, I simply did not take Shu Lang's words seriously, and even, at one point, thought Shu Lang was jealous of me. Shu Lang lit up his cigarette and sighed, "Alas, you don't understand Fang Qing at all. She had an abortion in high school and has a bad reputation. In college, I also heard a lot of people say that she has a foot in 2 boats or something like that. Think about it, a girl whose reputation is rumored to be like this, can she be a good woman?" I frowned. "Why didn't you say so at the time?" He, did you listen to me when I said it then? I just said that Fang Qing was not good at all, and you were about to kill me. Besides, I only heard about these things, without evidence, how can I say it?" Shu Lang helplessly spread his hands and said. I was stunned, somewhat speechless. Indeed, at that time, Shu Lang had advised me many times, and even hinted at me the day before my wedding, but I didn't take it seriously at all. Because I always thought that I could change Fang Qing, and as long as I treated her well enough, she wouldn't do anything wrong to me for no reason. Now that I think about it, I can't help but feel ridiculous. I can't even change myself, so how can I want to change others? The two of us smothered our heads and smoked, and the entire box was filled with smoke. For a long time, Shu Lang patted my shoulder and said, "Things have happened, look away, how did you find out about this?" I took out my cell phone and said the cause and effect of the matter. After listening to Shu Lang, he said with some doubts, "This person who sent you the photos and videos has a problem in addition to asking for money, he also wants to deliberately provoke you. The results of the paternity test is out." "Not yet, it will take 3 days. I also know that this Mr. Z is deliberately trying to trap me, but there's no way around it. The photos and videos that the person sent are the truth." I dwelled on it. Fang Qing slyly said that these photos and videos are all photoshopped. What do you think? This kind of thing is not easy to say. You have to find a professional organization to identify. Even more trouble, it's better to wait for the results of the paternity test. As long as the results come out, won't everything be clear? Shu Lang said, suddenly thought of something and said, "Right, no matter if the truth of the matter is true or false, little Feng, you also have to make preparations in advance. Prepare for what? I said with a blank face. Xu Lang hated the iron and said, alas, I told you that you are too honest. If Fang Qing's cheating is a fact, and you want a divorce, how will the property be divided? You don't plan ahead. When the time comes, people's property is transferred away, you net out of the house are. It was only then that I snapped out of it. The financial power of the family has always been in the hands of Fang Qing. These years, I work to earn money, every month on time to pay. I do not know how much savings at home, but probably, hundreds of thousands are there. The car is in Fang Qing's name, but the house is in both of our names. If I file for divorce, with Fang Qing's shrewdness will definitely transfer the funds in advance, and by then, I will have nothing. Fang Qing is very sophisticated and you're too honest. With her, you'll definitely be the one to suffer. I told you at the time that you would be held to death by Fang Qing. Forget it, I'll find you a reliable lawyer in the next couple of days, you'll need it sooner or later. Alas, let's eat. When things go wrong, think about how to deal with it. Xu Lang persuaded. I was in a bad mood, and everything I ate tasted like wax. Xu Lang had been comforting me all along, saying, little phone, I think that before the paternity test results come out, you must stabilize Fang Qing first. Even if you know the result, you must stabilize it first. I know. What's the scariest thing about being middle-aged? It's not divorce, it's when the marriage is divorced and you end up losing your money. Don't wait for the weekend, hurry up and go pick up Fang Qing and bring her home, stabilize her first, don't let her know that you've noticed something is wrong, understand? Xu Lang and I didn't eat much. At 8 o'clock or so, Xu Lang urged me to go to my mother-in-law's house to pick up Fang Qing. He repeatedly reminded me to stabilize my emotions, don't let Fang Qing find out. In front of my mother-in-law's house, I rang the doorbell for half a day. Click. The door to the room opened. Fang Qing stood in the doorway. Seeing me, she frowned lightly. Why did you come? Qing, I came to pick you up and take you home. I said. I don't want to go back, it's fine here with my mom. Fang Qing turned around and was about to close the door. Looking at her desperate look, my mind immediately conjured up the thought that if we were to get divorced that day, Fang Qing would definitely be even more heartless and cold than she is now. No way. Hold on, I must hold on to her. Qing. In the heat of the moment, I hastily reached out to block the door, and with a bang, the door of the room caught my palm, and I couldn't help but scream out in pain. What's wrong with you? Hey, are you stupid? It's all stuck out with bruises. Fang Qing turned around, grabbed my palm and complained. Looking at the way she cared for me, it didn't look like it was fake, and I became complicated inside, gritting my teeth. Qing, I was wrong before, I shouldn't have doubted you. I believe that the feelings between the two of us are not something that can be provoked by a photo or video. Hearing this, Fang Qing flinched for a moment, her face a little embarrassed, and said, come in first, I'll go get you some ice to compress it. The old father-in-law and mother-in-law, as well as the child, seemed to be asleep, and the house was quiet. Fang Qing turned on the lights in the living room and went to get ice from the refrigerator. Looking at her delicate waist and peach-like buttocks, my heart tingled again. I love Fang Qing. Even now, knowing that she's probably cheating on me, I still can't let go of her inside. This person is so cheap. Unless I see the results with my own eyes, I will die completely. Paternity test results, everything still have to wait for the paternity test results to come out before saying. There are still 3 days. I was suffering inside. Fang Qing had already brought an ice pack over, and said with a concerned face, does it hurt? Quickly apply it, it can reduce the swelling. I raised my head and looked at Fang Qing. Qing, let's go back. You're not at home, I'm not used to being alone. Chapter 7 tonight, she is very active. It's not that I don't want to go back, it's mainly because you keep pissing me off. I haven't asked you yet, where did those photos and videos come from? So obvious. PS, you actually took it seriously, thinking about it makes me feel infuriating. Fang Qing said angrily. I thought for a moment and raised my head and lied. That day our company was in a meeting, and suddenly the PPT I made the day before was switched, and in it was this picture of you. I wanted to die at that time, so many people saw it. I told a half-truth and didn't tell that thing about Mr. Z in WeChat. Fang Qing heard it and analyzed it for me with righteous indignation. Hubby, this is definitely someone deliberately messing with you. The first is to make a fool out of you in front of the company and your bosses, and the second is to make your backyard on fire. Our family is not in harmony. Where do you have the heart to do things in the company? Is it that Gong Yu or Dong Hai Tao? It must be both of them. I also suspect both of them. That's right, haven't they always been competing with you for the position of vice president? Definitely trying to screw you. HMPH, you still don't trust me, wrongly accusing me of being that kind of woman. Fang Qing obviously believed my words and didn't get suspicious. I smoothly said, I'm sorry wife, I figured it out, let's go home, don't disturb dad and mom here. Well, it's fine to go back, but, first things first, you have to promise me that you won't suspect me next time because of something like this for no reason. Fang Qing said, sat down beside me, took my arm, and said, husband, what is the most important thing between a husband and wife? It's trust. We've been in a relationship for so many years and our days are going well. Why would I do something that's humiliating? Besides, we have children, 3 sons. Yeah, it's my fault, I'll never do it again. I promised perfunctorily. Fang Qing agreed to go home with me, but for some reason, wanted to leave her child with her parents. I couldn't insist, so I had to drive her back with me. After arriving home, the first thing Fang Qing did was to rummage through the closet and find a set of sexy underwear, then walked towards the bathroom and said to me with a smile, hubby, it's rare to have a world of two, I'm going to check your homework tonight. Standing outside the door, looking at Fang Qing's beautiful face, if it were usual, I would definitely show a horny expression and directly pounce on her to have a Mandarin duck bath. But now for some unknown reason, I was a bit diabolical inside. Because the thought of her and the man in the video, I resisted, feeling that she was dirty and disgusting. Soon, Fang Qing came out and urged me to take a shower. I dawdled in the bathroom for a long time, although I was very resistant, but in order to not let Fang Qing find out what was going on, for now I could only pretend to obey her. After taking a shower and coming out, Fang Qing was lying on the bed playing with her cell phone, and when she saw me, she immediately turned off the headlights, leaving only the pink ambient light. Tonight, she was especially proactive. I know Fang Qing very well, she has always been bold and exuberant in this regard. After giving birth to our triplet sons, it was rare for us to be so indulgent. After tossing and turning for a long time, Fang Qing was satisfied, then slept with her back to me. I couldn't help but reach out and want to hug her a little bit. I didn't expect it. Fang Qing pushed my arm away and said subconsciously, so tired, oh, don't get it, go to sleep. I have no sleep, leaning on the bed sitting, see Fang Qing's beautiful face and redness has not dispersed, but inwardly very entangled. Fang Qing, in the end there is no cheating? The next morning, I went to work normally. Just opened the computer, Shulang gave me a phone call. Liu Feng, you picked up Fang Qing home. I nodded my head and said, well, we went back together last night. Okay, then you find a chance to mention it to her, tell her that I have a financial management project on my side, the annualized rate is more than 5 points, it's stable, and there's no risk whatsoever. You ask her to hand over her family's savings to you, understand? Fang Qing, can she agree? I asked. Shulang didn't have the heart to say, if she doesn't agree, won't you find a way to convince her? Besides, that's more of a sign that there's something wrong. Brother, don't be stupid, okay? Hurry up and find a way to get the deposit back. I'm still consulting on the lawyer's side, even if it comes to that, we can't suffer. Okay, I know. Don't forget what's the situation, call me at the first time. After hanging up the phone, my mind was a bit messy. Fang Qing's matter involved a lot of my energy, and I couldn't concentrate at work. Until the afternoon, when the end of the day, Ju Wen came over to remind me, manager, the evening entertainment arrangements have been made. In the Windsor KTV, the administrative department has 2 people as a companion, Sun Yao is also in it. I almost forgot about what I explained to Ju Wen yesterday. When he said it now, I remembered, and hurriedly said, okay, thanks. Manager, are we leaving now? I've contacted Mr. Guo's side, he'll be there around 7 o'clock. Ju Wen asked. I looked up at the time on the computer screen, it was already almost 6 o'clock, and immediately nodded and said, okay, let's go and book the private room first. Guo called Guo Darshan, in the Deep Blue International when they're vice president. This person itself is nothing, but his father-in-law is the leader of the housing and construction department, in charge of the quality of the project and safety supervision. We do real estate, naturally want to flatter him. A while ago, our construction site has a few workers did not follow the provisions of the Code of Practice Operations and wear helmets. was found by the housing department. The company asked us to sales department with the Ministry of Administration to solve this trouble. So, today I invited Guodashing to dinner. In fact, I was begging for his help. This society is like this, the workers did violate the rules. We also want to work in strict accordance with the rules, but the weather is hot, the workers go up there and have to take off their hats, and it is impossible for us to keep an eye on them 24 hours a day. This matter, which can be big or small, depends on how much money can be sent to fix Guodashing. To Windsor KTV, I will first set a private room and package. The company has a consumption target, I do not dare to point. More than 7 o'clock, Guodashing has not yet arrived, but Sun Yao and the administrative department of another called Lily's receptionist arrived. Seeing me, Sun Yao did not feel embarrassed, but instead and Lily kowtow melon seeds, taking advantage of the guests did not arrive, the two also smiled and sang 2 songs. I stayed in the box board, simply went to the bathroom outside to smoke. As a result, when I came back, Guodashing had already arrived and was sitting with Sun Yao, the two of them singing love songs as if they looked familiar. "What's going on?" I asked. Ju Wen said, "Mr. Guo just arrived, I was about to call you." That Sun Yao seems to know General Manager Guo, she's an old classmate. Grass, there are such coincidences. I was somewhat speechless. Because originally I was thinking that I intentionally called Sun Yao to socialize, so that she would accompany her to drink more and make a fool of herself, and also go back and have a hard time for a while. But she has this layer of relationship with Guodashing, so I'm too embarrassed to make things difficult for her. Chapter 8 First Love. I walked over, picked up my wine glass and said, "Brother Guo, thank you for the honor. It's been a long time, you're looking better and better, no words, I'll definitely not get drunk tonight. Come on, let's drink up." Just as the song finished, Guodashing raised his glass and laughed, "Har har, Liu Feng'er, you're just too polite," the whole set. I sat down and was about to liaise with Guodashing for a bit and then say that thing about the construction site violation. But I did not expect. Sun Yao directly pulled Guodashing's arm, proposed, "Hey, Dashing, dry drinking is no fun, or we play a little exciting it." "Har har, play what exciting are?" Guodashing asked with interest. "Shake the dice, truth or dare, can you do that?" Sun Yao purposely glanced at me, said with a smile, "The winning designate a person truth or dare, both don't want to choose then drink, forfeit 3 cups. I quickly waved my hand and said, "You guys play, I'll just watch you play." He, Manager Liu, you wouldn't be afraid to play, right?" Sun Yao immediately mocked and laughed. Seeing this face of hers, I was very unhappy. What's more, today this bureau was organized by me, I definitely can't spoil Guodashing's excitement. After thinking about it, I nodded my head and said, "All right, let's play then." Ju Wen and I, Sun Yao and Lily, plus Guodashing, the 5 of us started shaking the dice. In the first game, Guodashing won. He stared colorfully at Sun Yao and said, "I'll designate a dare, I bet you don't dare to come over and kiss me." Who would have thought that just after Guodashing finished his words, Sun Yao directly stood up and hugged Guodashing's head and came with a few fragrant kisses. This time Guodashing beauty, laughing and said, "Har har, this game is fun. Come on, hurry up and continue." The next few games, I admit that I underestimated this Sun Yao. She was obviously a veteran who had played a lot in the nightclubs, and after a few rounds of sifting, she won 2 rounds, and the other round was won by Ju Wen by a fluke. The 2 games that Sun Yao won were both designated to me, to speak from the heart. The first one wasn't outrageous, asking when I was a man, and I answered honestly. The second question was a bit perverted. Sun Yao asked me if I had intercourse with Fang Qing last night. I didn't want to lie, so I had no choice but to nod my head helplessly. The next few games, I didn't win a single game. On the contrary, Guodashing and Sun Yao frequently win. Sun Yao won the most. We drink more wine, the question is also more and more explosive up. This time, it was Sun Yao's turn to win again. She was obviously drunk. Reaching out and pointing at me, she asked, sincerely, "Liu Feng, what would you do if your wife cheated on you?" My face changed slightly, staring at Sun Yao for half a day, making sure that she was really drunk, before I said jokingly, "Oh, in my place there is only widowhood, no divorce, dare to give me a cuckold, I'm sure to get her killed." Har har, brother, you are too ruthless. As the saying goes, if you want to live a good life, at least bring some green on your head. Guodashing patted my shoulder and said with a smile. I knew that he was joking, but there was always something uncomfortable inside. Moreover, this night, I was asked a dozen questions by Sun Yao, and she seemed to be very curious about me. What made me even more uncomfortable was that originally I organized the game to bring Guodashing in and fix Sun Yao in the process, but it turned out that Sun Yao didn't make it. Guodashing even got together with Sun Yao. The two also drank a cup of wine, has been head together in a piece, whispering. It is said that old classmates meet, that is certainly to engage in broken shoes. When the party broke up, Guodashing took the initiative to put his arm around Sun Yao's waist and smiled at me. Brother, thanks for today, I'll send Yao Yao back. Sun Yao didn't know whether she was really drunk or fake drunk. Anyway, she volunteered. From the time she shook the dice, she was with Guodashing like a couple. I couldn't refuse, and called a chauffeur for Guodashing, and watched them leave. Ju Wen brought Lily and said, Manager, then we'll go back first as well. Well, go back. I rubbed my face, a little depressed in my heart. Sun Yao didn't get straightened out, but instead, she got her hooked up with Guodashing. She's definitely going to shoo me even more in this future. However, what makes me doubtful is that Sun Yao dared to hook up with Guodashing in front of me. Is she not afraid of me telling Gong Yu? This woman, not simple. I really looked away. Back home, Fang Qing really is not at home. She told me at noon to go back to her mother's home to take care of the 3 sons, to stay one night. Let me go tomorrow to pick them up. Lying on the bed, I can't sleep. Because tomorrow is the day of the paternity test results. I was tossing and turning when suddenly the cell phone rang. Is an unfamiliar number to call. I originally didn't want to answer it. There are a lot of scam calls these days, but thinking of that Mr. Z, I couldn't help but slowly pick it up. Hello, Liu Feng? A girl's crisp voice came from the opposite side. I was flabbergasted for a moment, and only after a long time did I say, Are you Wei Wei? He, not bad, remembering my voice. I thought that you had already forgotten me a long time ago. On the phone, the girl said with a smile. How can that be? You're my first love, I can't forget it in this lifetime. I said jokingly. Che, who are you kidding? Your first love was probably in elementary school. HMPH, but it's true that you can't forget me. I know you meant too well, what you can't get your hands on is always the best, right? Xie Wei Wei sneered and laughed. That's right, Xie Wei Wei was my first love. In college, we talked for 3 years. But these 3 years is pure platonic love. We two relationship is limited to holding hands and kiss a mouth and so on, because Xie Wei Wei said she is a traditional conservative woman, not until the day of marriage, is not going to give the body to any man. I was also very touched and felt that I had found a good girl. As a result, by the year of graduation, Xie Wei Wei was suddenly sent abroad by her family, not even leaving a phone call. Then less than a month, I was in the classmates group. I heard that she found a foreign boyfriend. QQ space even photos are out. I was furious. Xie Wei Wei's all contact information are pulled black. Xie Wei Wei things, let me self-loathing for more than half a year, has been waiting to meet Fang Qing. I only live again. The best way to forget a previous relationship is to start a new one, so even if a lot of people around me, like Shu Lang, advise me that Fang Qing is not a good woman, but I still cherish her. Because Fang Qing will never dislike me, she and Xie Wei Wei is not the same. Fang Qing belongs to the gentle, virtuous wife and mother of the kind. She is not like Xie Wei Wei so opinionated. What is the matter, is to let me make the decision. This greatly satisfies my machismo. Moreover, during the relationship, she did not do anything to apologize to me. I fell into memories and froze for half a day. On the other side of the phone, Xie Wei Wei said, Hey, why don't you say anything? Still hating me for what happened back then. Chapter 9, Climbing Above the Ranks. No, love is free, what's there to hate or not? Besides, your family's threshold is so high, I can't climb high enough. I laughed awkwardly. Xie Wei Wei laughed, oh, hypocrisy. Liu Feng, I just want to tell you that there are some things, what you hear, is not necessarily true. Forget it, too lazy to explain to you, I've returned to China, you know. I didn't have the heart to say, nonsense, can you call me from your domestic cell phone number when you're abroad? Also, come out and get together. In a few days we will have a class reunion to reminisce about our alma mater and our lost youth. Class reunion. That's too old-fashioned, isn't it? Oh, nowadays, classmate reunions are organized by people who are well mixed, and then show off their wealth, act tough, and get their shoes broken. It's meaningless, this kind of thing. I won't participate in it. Besides, I don't mix well. I instinctively resisted it very much. If it was just a meeting with Xie Weiwei alone, I might still be a bit interested. But nowadays, class reunions have long since changed their flavor. You have to come. It's because Jiangshu is getting married, and this time it's a borrowing of his wedding party. Don't forget, back then you guys were in the same dormitory. It was Zhangzhen who asked me to inform you. Anyway, whether you come or not, it's up to you. Grass, this son of a bitch, actually didn't even say anything about the wedding, but also let you come to notify. He is sick in the head, right? I was a bit speechless. Jiangshu is also my good brother in college. He, I, plus Shulang, we are known as the Three Swordsmen in room 306. Just graduated there, my mother hospitalized for surgery. I have no money, is to find Jiangshu borrowed 50,000. He did not ask me what is the matter, direct transfer. Although the money I have long returned, but this love, I have always remembered in my heart. In addition, I came to work at Star Real Estate, also introduced by Jiangshu. Uncle Wen, also known as my master, is friends with Jiangshu's family, so over the years, he has always taken special care of me. Based on these reasons, I also had to go to this class reunion. How about it? Have you thought about it yet? Are you coming or not? If you don't come, I'll give Jiangshu a word. Don't be ridiculous. Can I not go to Jiangshu's wedding? Have you set a date yet? I'll ask for a vacation in advance. Oh, just these few days. They said tomorrow to go to the temple to worship, and then seek a good day, then I will notify you. Har. Hey, right, you are not without my micro signal are at it? Convenient contact. Good. Xie Weiwei found this excuse is very clumsy, but it also meets her persona. She is never active. After adding WeChat, Xie Weiwei immediately sent a series of emoticons. There were cute Miss Bears, and baby rabbits and such. I drank wine, headache, today really do not have the mood to bullshit with her, so sent a I pinch you nize believe it or not emoticon package. When Xie Weiwei saw it, she was finally honest and replied with 2 words, hooligan. For Xie Weiwei, I do not have any other ideas. The two families are not at all a level. It is said that her family is a businessman, and the business is doing a lot, a little similar to the mansion. I'm such a poor boy, it is impossible to get into the eyes of her parents. When she suddenly left the country, I guess her parents found out the relationship between us. But in any case, only a month after leaving the country, she found a new boyfriend, which is the reason why I don't hold any thoughts about Xie Weiwei. As for the class reunion, since it was Jiangshu's wedding, I really had to make a trip then. The next morning, more than 9 o'clock, I was working in the company. I received a message from the front desk Beauty Li from the paternity testing center. The appraisal results came out, need me to personally go to get. Finally the results are coming out. I was both apprehensive and anxious. I was about to turn off the computer and go get the identification results. I was just about to get up when Uncle Wen came over. He looked at me and said, "Why, something is going out?" The last time I took a leave of absence, Uncle Wen was already very unhappy, because the company is recently competing for this project in Wonder Plaza. If we can cooperate with Wonder Plaza, this is considered a very good signboard for our Starlight Real Estate company to make a name for itself. I quickly shook my head and said, "No, I was about to go to the bathroom. This recent period of time is going to be very busy. This project of Wonder, I am going to give you the takeover. Let's go, I have an appointment with a friend in the morning, you come with me to meet up." Uncle Wen said. I hesitated for a while, not knowing if I should open my mouth at this time. Because projects like Wonder are unattainable, me following Uncle Wen is definitely a form of seniority and capital for my future promotion. Uncle Wen's willingness to take me is for my own good. What, are there difficulties? Uncle Wen was a bit upset and said. I really couldn't say anything, so I could only promise, "No, I'll come after I go to the restroom." "No on the line, I'll wait for you downstairs." Uncle Wen patted me on the shoulder, didn't say anything, and went downstairs. And I quickly went to the bathroom, gave Li a phone call, said, "Sorry I'm a little busy at work today, let's see if there's any time to go over and get it in the afternoon, if not, can you help bring out the appraisal results, I'll go to you to get it." "Mr. Liu, that's fine, then contact me when you're free." "Thanks." After hanging up the phone, I hurriedly went downstairs, and Uncle Wen was indeed already waiting in the car. Wonder Project is also the city's key project, to be made into a landmark building. Our Starlight Real Estate is the contractor, so we have to deal with all aspects of the relationship. At lunchtime, it was with the project manager of Wonder. I thought it would be over after the meal, but Uncle Man took me to a tea house again in the afternoon. The person I met this time was different, a section chief of the Land and Resources Bureau. This person is in his 30s, medium build, shaved small flat head, suit pants with shirt. It looks like that kind of leadership style, but he looks quite spiritual. The wrist is wearing a Longines watch, giving people a low-key, down-to-earth feeling. Ayer, section chief, you finally come. If you don't come again, this old squad leader of mine is going to lose his drink. Uncle Wen warmly greeted the others. It could be seen that the relationship between them was already familiar enough to joke around freely. Hee, Uncle Wen, every time you ask me out there is nothing good, I don't quite dare to come. Section chief, you said jokingly. Uncle Wen hurriedly started to make tea while introducing me. Look at what you're saying, there's really nothing else today. Come on, introduce me, my disciple Liu Feng. Hee, successor now. Section chief, you glanced at me and asked with a smile. Uncle Wen rushed to my eyes, signaled, no, the child is young, brought out to see the world. In the future always want you young people contact well. Chapter 10. Neither. I quickly stood up. There is no wine, can only take tea instead of wine, said, you section chief. Hello, I'm Liu Feng. Hello. Section chief, you was very casual, smiled and said, sit down, sit and chat, don't be so polite. My dad and Uncle Wen are comrades in arms. How many years of relationship? They are all acquaintances. Uncle Wen was not polite and asked with a smile, or else it's still a comrade in arms relationship. Xiao Yu, that shopping mall thing I mentioned to you, how is the situation? Section chief, you pondered for a while and said, this thing can be operated, however, your company will have to spend some money, wanting to hang on to the brand of Wonder Plaza. This money must be paid, just like the franchise fee. The subsequent operation and management are all your own. In addition, we can only do a lead role. The middle of the money, including how you talk to them all, have to come by yourselves. Oh, taking a lead is enough. Can be listed Wonder. The future is also the city's landmark building. Well, you still have to support more support. Our company, this is also for the city to make contributions. Are. Uncle Wen praised and laughed. Section chief, you glanced at Uncle Wen and said, you're the smart one. Don't worry, I have friends on the propaganda port side. It's a matter of saying hello when the time comes. Thanks then. Drink tea. This meal ate inexplicably, the whole process. I basically did not have the opportunity to speak, just in the side responsible for tea pouring water. After coming out, it was already dark. This sitting, actually do not know a few hours. Sent away that is located in the section chief, I could not help but ask, Uncle Wen, this what project are, how also involves Wonder? Uncle Wen glanced at me and said, what do you know? There is an old shopping mall in the west of the city that belongs to a government-supported project, which is poorly managed and is about to close down, so we'll take it over, redecorate it, and put up a Wonder Plaza sign, and it will be able to reopen. I pondered for a moment. Bright said, this project can be, Wonder Plaza is still quite attractive to guests over the years. This is a money-making project. Oh, making money is secondary, the most important thing is, to help the government solve the trouble. However, the mall to take down we can make money. The mall that is about to close down was saved by us. The mall owner got rid of this hot potato. The above also have political achievements, all happy. Moreover, with this relationship, the new city development zone of the land, we will be able to pick a pick. The land, this is the most important, understand? Uncle Wen said with his hands behind his back. I grinned. Uncle Wen, it's still you who is old and cunning. Brat, can you talk? Hurry up and go drive. On their way back, Uncle Wen seemed to be a little tired, leaning against the back seat and actually fell asleep. Waiting to send him to the downstairs of the neighborhood, I woke him up. Uncle Wen, it's here. Oh, when people get older, they get sleepy easily. Uncle Wen got up, pulled open the car door and went down, and added, your master's wife didn't buy any food today, so I won't keep you for dinner, and I'll have Fang Qing bring the kids over when the weekend rolls around. Hearing this, I froze and forced a smile. Okay, I'll try my best. What? Had a fight? Uncle Wen asked, seeing that my mood was off. I quickly laughed. No, you're overthinking it, the two of us are fine. No, on the line, between husband and wife, we should sympathize with each other. Fang Qing no matter what also gave you 3 sons, this is how much money cannot envy the blessing. Sometimes, you let her have more. Oh, I know. After watching Uncle Wen go up, I sat in the car and smoked a cigarette before driving away. In the eyes of outsiders, I do enjoy the blessings of all people. My wife is beautiful, the family conditions are good, and gave me 3 big fat sons. If these 3 sons is my own, then how happy are. I laughed bitterly out of the district, touch out the phone, to Lily sent a message, asked her where. She sent me a localization over, said, small shin you and dinner, you eat yet? Or I'll wait for you. Okay, I'll treat you. I replied and hurriedly drove over. 10 minutes later, I found the private room where Lily was, and she was alone inside. Lily was obviously just off work, wearing a suit short skirt uniform, soft long hair coiled behind her head, her small hand holding a cup of white water, looking quite a playful young woman's flavor. Mr. Liu, you came, sit down, I ordered 2 dishes, you see what else to eat. Seeing me come, Lily hurriedly got up and handed over the menu. I don't have the heart to eat, directly said, that, the appraisal results are out. Lily, flabbergasted for a moment, picked up an orange on the table, peeling it while swallowing, Mr. Liu. My heart thumped, and I was a little flustered, but still insisted on gritting my teeth. Call me Liu Feng, you said, no matter what the results are, I can afford it. Liu Feng, the result is not very good, 3 children inside. Lily's voice was much smaller. Don't say it. Suddenly, my eyes turned red and I stopped Lily. Although before I came, I played countless times in my heart, so that I have to be strong, but at this time to hear the results of the moment, I still fell into endless panic inside, aggrieved. See Lily, so son, really is not my pro-life. That Fang Qing derailment is the ironic fact. When? She in the end from one began to give me a cuckold. My heart and suffocated and hard. Feeling out a cigarette, I ruthlessly inhaled it all into my lungs, trying to calm myself down, adjusting for a long time before I spoke. Give me the results, I want to take a look. Lily hesitated for a moment, picking up her bag from the chair next to her, then, pulling out a file bag from it, handing it to the desktop in front of me, whispering, Liu Feng, there is a saying, life is not as good as it should be in 9 out of 10 cases, things happen, we need to face them positively, and learn to look forward, right? I didn't say anything, my palms tangled as I picked up the file bag. I'm going to the restroom. Lily was smart and sensible enough to get up and leave, taking the door of the compartment for me. I didn't dare to open it at all, slowly drew out the appraisal results inside, only saw the first line of words, my whole person almost fainted. On the appraisal, 3 sons actually have 3 biological fathers. Even more outrageous is that the 3 sons actually have no blood relationship with me. What does this mean? It means that on the same day, Fang Qing had slept with 3 different men before this happened. This probability is harder than winning $5 million. In an instant, veins rippled on my forehead and an urge to kill filled my heart. Right. I really wanted to kill people. The first one was this stinky bitch Fang Qing. I couldn't figure out why, exactly, she was doing this. Bullying honest people, is it? I even wanted to strangle those 3 sinful children. Don't tell me that the children are innocent, I'm not that great or open-minded. Also, who are the 3 fathers of the children? Fang Qing's private life, how messy is it? Chapter 11. Stay with me. My eyes were bloodshot and my mind was buzzing. At this moment, I was both humiliated and angry inside. Angry because of Fang Qing's betrayal, humiliated because I was cuckolded and still foolishly helped raise someone else's son. Getting up, I settled the bill and left. I felt so humiliated. When I went out, I felt that other people looked at me with sneers, making me want to find a crack in the ground. Back in the car, I closed the windows tightly, lying on the steering wheel. I finally could not hold back, so aggrieved that I cried out in pain. A man's tears are not light, just before the sad time. I bawled. Crying heartbreaking. This kind of humiliation and anger of being betrayed by the most beloved woman can almost make one lose one's mind. Liu Feng. I don't know when, Lily chased me out and knocked on my car window, asking me to open the door. I quickly bit my lip, trying to keep myself from crying out, then shook my head at Lily and started the car, roaring away. The streets of the city, the buildings, the crowds of people coming and going passed by quickly in my eyes. I aimlessly sped all the way, I don't know when, the sky is completely dark, I don't know, actually drove the car to the riverside. WX is a river city, leaning against the river, is a long river beach, the water coming and going boats are very slow, from time to time issued a burst of whimpering sound, as if crying for me. I got out of the car, sitting on the edge of the river beach, looking at the dark river, mouth numbly holding a cigarette. I don't know how long I stayed. Suddenly, a voice behind me said, "Go back, the river is cold, don't freeze and catch a cold." I turned my head and froze. The one who spoke was actually Lee. It's winter now, she wore less, her white legs were shivering under her short suit skirt, her hands were holding her arms, obviously standing here for a long time. In front of outsiders, I don't want to be too humiliated, and quickly wiped the tear stains in the corner of my eyes, stood up and turned back. "Why are you here? When did you come?" Lee bit her lip and said, "You drove out when I followed, the night, afraid that your mind is not calm, something happened. After all, you are my customer." I was silent. At the beginning of knowing that the 3 sons are not my biological moment, I really want to die hard. But to be honest, I didn't have that courage. I am not afraid to die, but I think that Fang Qing is not worth it. What's more, Fang Qing cheated on me, and all 3 of my sons are not my own. It's her fault. Why should I die? Isn't that too much of a loser? I haven't gotten my revenge yet. Seeing that I didn't move for half a day, Lee urged, "Hurry up, you really want to freeze me to death." When she spoke, her 2 small feet in high heels were already stepping around on the river beach. It seems to be really cold. Beautiful and moving, this phrase probably describes Lee. What do you think you're doing following up? It's not like it's any of your business. I said quite helplessly, took off the jacket on my body, draped it over her, and walked towards the parking side. Lee gave me a glance and said, "Look at what you're saying, do you have a conscience? Firstly, you are my client, secondly, even if it's a cat or a dog, it's still a life. I was born with a soft heart, can't see this kind of thing, don't follow up and watch a little okay." In private, Lee's character is quite real, and speaks more casually, unlike in the paternity testing center as formal. However, this is normal. Many people work in the company is one thing, private life is another, do not know when to start, everyone is used to, with a mask life. After getting into the car, I started the car, turned the heater on by hand, glanced at Lee on the passenger side, and asked, "How did you get here?" "Took a cab." Lee curled up in her seat and pulled my jacket over her legs. "Where's your house?" "I'll give you a ride back. Duran Street, just drop me off at the end of the street." "By the way, are you really okay?" Lee looked at me and asked. I started the car and said expressionlessly, "Things have happened, can I still die?" "You're right if you think so." Lee nodded her head and said, "I work in a paternity testing center, and I usually come into contact with a lot of customers, both male and female. In fact, 9 out of 10 who come to do paternity testing have problems. But do you know how they do it?" I didn't say anything, driving seriously. Most of them start cursing on the spot, and some of the clients even smash our stuff, but after cursing, some of them get divorced on the spot, and some of them go back in silence. Some of these people have had enough, some, in order to live, have to endure. But last month, a client had an accident, and when he found out the result, he went straight to the grocery store, bought a knife, and when he got home, he hacked his wife to death. As a result, he was arrested that night and sentenced to 12 years. Within a few days, her wife was discharged from the hospital, and the adulterer directly cohabited with her, right in the house he bought. Lee spoke in a calm tone, seemingly speaking to me. I understood Lee's meaning and said helplessly, "I know, I'm not that stupid. Even if I want to flip out, I will use legal means, not violence." "Hey, that's right. One day husband and wife, if you can pass, pass, if you can't pass, leave, everyone just get together." Lee said, sagely, "It's okay to love big and get hurt. If you are in pain, just drink, get drunk and wake up, what worries are forgotten. Life is no big deal, as long as you don't die, it's nothing if the sky collapses." "Big sister, are you trying to brainwash me?" I said breathlessly. "What brainwashing? I'm doing this for your own good. You customers, oh my god, I am really afraid that something will happen to you, otherwise we also have a responsibility, you know." Lee rolled her eyes and continued, "Liu Feng, at least you are still considered successful now, right? You have a house and a car, you have money, you don't know that your living conditions are countless times better than a lot of people, you know that some of the countries out there are still at war, there's no food to eat, and there's a high chance that you'll be killed by a bomb tomorrow, but they are still alive, and they are still alive and well, and they are living with a smile on their face. Crunch. Lily was in the middle of talking when I slammed on the brakes and stopped in front of a KTV. Holy shit, what are you doing? Trying to murder people for money? Lily stared at me with big eyes, long eyelashes, blinking. I don't know why, I suddenly had an impulse to say, didn't you say that it's good to get drunk? Here, inside is the singing, accompany me. Lily hesitated, I'll forget it, I have to work tomorrow. Besides, I never go to this kind of place to play, it's too messy. I laughed, hee hee, you just talked to me like you were in charge, why are you still wimpy now? You know what? In a person's life, even if they have heard a lot of great truths, they still can't live this life well. Are you friends? If you are, then accompany me in for a wild ride, without getting drunk. Chapter 12, Getting Drunk. Okay. Lily agonized for half a day, and finally gritted her teeth and agreed. KTV seems to business is not very good, there are not a few guests, I want a small package, and then directly ordered a highest 1888 package. Tonight, I intend to completely crazy one. But then, on the sofa, I sat with Lily, pulled open a can of beer, I raised it up and said, come on, old Ian, thank you for your company today, I'm dry, you lick a mouthful. Roll. Can you talk? What do you mean by lick? Are you a bad person? Just do it. Lily did not hesitate in the slightest, and similarly opened a can and directly dried it. Oh, okay, have personality. Again. I said with a smile. Lily is from the north, with a good nature, straightforward, not pretentious, talking and chatting, making people very comfortable. From the fact that she followed me to the river, I knew that this was a kind, responsible girl. According to reason, after I got the paternity test results, her work task is over, but worried about my accident, she has been following behind, freezing at the riverside, and has not opened her mouth. Where are you from in your hometown? Drinking wine, I casually asked. Mushes, what's wrong? Nothing, just ask, come on, drink. Lily's eyebrows furrowed, looked at me and said, what? You want to get me drunk? HMPH, don't even think about it, I'm not that kind of casual woman. Look at you, you always think so badly of people. Forget it, I'll drink by myself. I was speechless. Lily proposed, don't just drink, sing, let's sing one song each and see who sings with a high rating, how about drinking for the loser? What song do you want to sing? That's what you're asking, you should be asking me what song I can sing. I laughed. Lily laughed wryly, no way bro D, you really don't know how to sing? Okay, then let's play this, hey, the loser drinks, the winner doesn't have to. You are bullying NA. Forget it, just drink, getting drunk is better. 2 cans of beer down, my head has begun to be a little dizzy, but I don't know why, I especially want to drink today, especially want to get drunk, and then don't think about anything. Lily's singing was actually average, but it couldn't be helped, people could at least hum and keep up with the rhythm. And I really can't sing in tune, many songs I fantasize in my head that I can sing better than the original singer, but when the voice comes out, it's just like being strangled by a ghost. Lily scoffed heartlessly, har har, Liu phone, you're really blind with this face, it's so hard to sing. Singing in front of you gives me a sense of superiority. Be a man you. I was speechless, and finally took out one of my own sad love songs from the bottom of my box, getting your person but not your heart. I thought that when people are together, hearts are together, poor me, I'm still in love with you. Your heart doesn't belong to me, why are you with me? This song, I sang my heart and soul, ghosts and whales. According to later Lily said to me privately, I sang a night song, just this one in pitch. I do not know how much I drank, anyway, in the end, I completely out of it, collapsed on the couch at the last moment, but also saw Lily face red, holding the microphone in a song called What Red Beans. The next day, I woke up, found me lying in a hotel bed. Sitting up, I had a splitting headache, lit a cigarette and slowed down for a while to get better. The room was empty, I was alone. It seems that Lily sent me here, and then she left by herself. Oh, women. Too realistic, does she not know to send me home? Looking at the time, it's already 2 in the afternoon, but that's okay, it's the weekend and I don't have to work. Buzzing. I was in a daze when my cell phone rang. Looking at the screen on the white 2 words, I immediately heart sank, picked up the phone, voice cold, said, hello. Husband, where are you? When are you coming to pick up my son and I today? Fang Qing said with a smile, and next to her came the sound of her son's wailing. With an inexplicable burst of irritation inside me, I said, "Later, I still have some things to do." "Oh, then you come early, my brother is also at home, let's have dinner together tonight, he said he has something to talk to you about." "Got it." After hanging up the phone, my palms were still shaking. Although it is said that getting drunk and forgetting all the troubles last night, but what about today? People, after all, have to face reality. I have already thought about it. Tonight we'll showdown with Fang Qing. I can only try to restrain myself, can get together and break up the best, if not, then I can only turn my face and lift the table. Downstairs to the front desk of the hotel, I took the room card to check out, but the front desk told me that last night that beautiful woman has already paid, there is $100 of deposit to return to me. I patted my head, then remembered, last night not only to open the hotel money is Lily out, even KTV room money I did not pay the bill. Drinking off the tablets. Said I treat, the result became Lily out of pocket. I'm quite embarrassed. To Lily made a phone call. "Hey, beautiful. You're awake. Can you still drive by yourself?" Lily's side is quite quiet, asked. I said, "Sure can that's sorry last night's KTV money, and the hotel, a total of how much, I transfer to you." "Oh, KTV money you really should give me, but the money for the room is even. Originally I was planning to take you to the rented house there to stay for a night, but I didn't expect that, you're not honest." Lily said with a smile. I was a bit confused and asked, "What?" "The online card just made a move on me, I felt that you wanted to take advantage of me, so I had no choice but to throw you out of the hotel." I was so embarrassed that I had no place to go, gritted my teeth and said, "I'm drunk." "I know you were drunk, or I would have called the police." "Okay, that's it I'm at work, hang up." Lily said dryly. "I'll treat you to dinner next time," I said with embarrassment. Hanging up the phone, I saw that the time was almost up, and drove directly to Fang Qing's mother's house. This time, I didn't buy anything. When I arrived at the entrance of the neighborhood, I parked the car on the road, lit a cigarette, looked at the blinding paternity report on the car, and tried hard to calm down in my heart, brewing up how to showdown with Fang Qing's family later on. I was about to get out of the car when I received a call from my brother-in-law, Fang Jun. "Hey, brother-in-law, where have you gotten to?" Fang Jun asked enthusiastically. I said, "Just arrived downstairs in the neighborhood." "Hey, you arrived so quickly I was about to tell you, we are all out, in the Riverside Du Jia chicken. You hurry up and drive over, I'll order the food first, you'll just be able to eat it when you arrive." "Good." Turning around, I drove straight to the Riverside restaurant again. In the box on the second floor, I saw Fang Jun, but Fang Qing wasn't there, he was alone. I walked in and asked suspiciously, "Where's your sister?" Chapter 13 disappeared. Brother-in-law Fang Jun is very enthusiastic, take the initiative to pull open has been let me sit down, and took out a cigarette, smiling and said, "Oh, they went to the mall, a moment over." "Brother-in-law, you sit, come, smoke." However, the more enthusiastic he is, the more I feel is not good. I know too much about Fang Jun, he only when there is something to ask me, this brother-in-law called the most cordial. By the way, my old man is doing building materials, in the building materials city has the largest store, but with the old age, the store's business are handed over to Fang Jun to take care of. Fang Jun did a great job and opened a few branches in the past 2 years. In terms of family conditions, Fang Qing is indeed a lot better than me. My family is from the countryside, parents are in the soil all their lives to plow food farmers, and their family cannot be compared. When I got married with Fang Qing, my mother-in-law and husband did not agree, even our wedding they did not come to participate, only sent Fang Jun a person on behalf of the family to go through the scene. Because the mother-in-law wants 1.5 million dowry, I cannot get out, all these years, I have been cynical. Until later I rose in the star real estate sales manager, to help Fang Jun in the company's project site to get the job of providing building materials, mother-in-law only look at me a little more favorable. Fang Jun's character, inherited from his mother-in-law, is more snobbish. Sure enough, after smoking 2 cigarettes and chatting for 10 minutes, Fang Jun brought the topic to business, saying, "Brother-in-law, isn't that Guoding Mansion and Huafu number 1 by the river also your starry real estate's construction site? Find a way to contract the building materials work to me as well." I frowned slightly and said, "Didn't I tell you, I'm not in charge of those 2 construction sites, I can't make the decision, understand?" Fang Jun laughed. Oh, I know. It's your company Dong Haitao who is responsible for it. But you are not a company. You say hello to him not on the line. Don't worry, I'm not a fool. The rebate that should be given, I won't be a penny short of giving him. This is not a rebate or not rebate thing. Dong Haitao and I do not deal with. He is eager to catch me a little problem. This time, how do you let me talk to him? How am I supposed to talk to him at this moment? I flicked a bit of ash into the ashtray and explained with some annoyance. That's right. Fang Jun listened, pondered for a while, and said, brother-in-law, why don't you look at it this way? You find someone else in the company to help me lead the way, and invite Dong Haitao for a meal. Then you don't have to step in, the rest, I'll do it myself, okay? Do you just have to have the building materials work for these two sites? I asked, a little uncomfortable. It's reasonable to say that since Fang Jun knows that Dong Haitao and I don't deal with each other, if he's smart, he shouldn't be looking for Dong Haitao to ask for work at the construction sites anymore, and not only does he want to look for it, but he also asked me to pull some strings. The point is, my mind is not on this at all. I'm waiting for Fang Qing to come over to show her cards, and this meal today is probably our last meal. Fang Jun smoked a cigarette and said with a sad face, alas, brother-in-law, you are not in charge and do not know the cost of firewood, rice, oil and salt. My new expansion of 2 stores, and talked about a few building materials business, the warehouse piled up a lot of goods, do not send out, I funds all pressure on the above, anxious to pay back or no. I helplessly said, okay, when I work, give you a study of this matter. Thank you brother-in-law. He, I knew it, you will definitely help me, you are my own brother-in-law. Fang Jun laughed so happily that he was itching to rush up and give me a kiss. But I really didn't have the heart to pull this with him, I just wanted Fang Qing to come earlier. I want to ask her, all these years, in the end, what are the places that I have wronged her, so much so that she cheated on me and gave birth to triplets of sons, none of which are my own. I want to know even more, who those 3 adulterers really are. Because medically speaking, the chances of being able to have triplets with 3 daddies are even lower than the chances of winning $5 million. How did Fang Qing manage to sleep with 3 different men in the same day? Is she that open-minded? Is she still the Fang Qing I know? After waiting for almost an hour, Fang Qing was still not here. Instead, Fang Jun answered a phone call and then glanced at me with an extremely unnatural expression and made an excuse to leave. Feeling that something was wrong, I hurriedly called Fang Qing and asked, where are you? Fang Qing was silent for half a day before speaking. Liu Feng, there are some things that are not what you think. I just want to say that things have already happened, can you not be so calculating? If I can go home today. I was instantly anxious and said, what do you mean? There's something in the words, huh? Fang Qing, where the hell are you? Let's meet and chat, and talk everything out, okay? I don't want to chat, that's it Liu Feng, let's all calm down, when you think about it, let's meet again to talk. Fang Qing said, directly hung up the phone. I called again, she was already not answering. I was inexplicably panicked, what exactly did Fang Qing mean? Did she know that I did the paternity test? Also, what does she mean by calm down? She doesn't want to divorce me, so she's just dragging this out. I was puzzled. What was Fang Qing thinking? However, no matter what, I definitely couldn't accept it. Indeed, it happened, but I can't pretend it didn't happen. There was no way I could accept a woman who had cuckolded me, and moreover, 3 at once. A woman so messed up, so watery, even if she's pretty and has a good body, so what? Who dares to want her? Fang Jun has left, it means that he already knows about Fang Qing and I. The phone call he just picked up might be the one Fang Qing called. He didn't expect that there was a change of heart between Fang Qing and me. I didn't wait stupidly. After going downstairs, I was ready to drive to my mother-in-law's house to find Fang Qing, but after pulling open the car door, I was dumbfounded. The paternity report that I had originally placed on the passenger seat was gone. I couldn't believe it and looked everywhere in the car. The paternity report was indeed missing. No need to think, it must be Fang Qing who saw it and took it away secretly. Originally, we had agreed to have dinner together, but after seeing this, Fang Qing is not a fool, she must know that I came to find her today, in order to show my cards. But what's the point? The paternity report is out, the result I already know, even if she took this one, I can still let Li print another one. She can delay for a while, can she delay for a lifetime? I angrily drove my car straight to Fang Qing's home. The more she avoids me, the more I have to find her, because I always feel that Fang Qing is hiding something she needs to delay. Originally half an hour away, I drove to 20 minutes, threw the car on the road. I was furious and went upstairs to knock on the door. But after waiting for half a day, the one who opened the door was the mother-in-law Hu Ping. She opened the door while still playing the phone. Her mouth said, "Well, good, I know." Chapter 14. Snobbish Mother-in-Law. Seeing me, my mother-in-law hung up the phone and frowned. "Why are you here?" "Mom, where's Fang Qing?" "I came to look for her." I gritted my teeth, but still shouted and asked. Mother-in-law said with a cold expression, "She's not at home, and the child has been taken away, so if you have something to do, call and communicate with her yourself." I stared at my mother-in-law with my eyes and said, "You know everything about Fang Qing and I, don't you? You know very well what I'm looking for her because of. There's no point in delaying it, it's not good for everyone." "What are you talking about?" "What do I know?" Mother-in-law looked at me disdainfully and said, "Liu Feng, when you married my daughter, I didn't agree. Because the door is not right, there will be a lot of conflicts in the future. Love doesn't need bread, but marriage does, and without an economic foundation, anything you say is for nothing. Besides, how can tile match porcelain? Don't you think so? I didn't care when you got married, and now that you've fruitfully come to the point of divorce, I likewise won't care. But I have a few words to remind you." I didn't say anything, staring at her, quietly waiting for the following. Mother-in-law Hu Ping condescendingly said, "Marriage is not up to you alone. No matter who is right and who is wrong, you have to use your head in everything you do. I cultivated my daughter, Fang Qing, for 20 years, and she is so beautiful. Whether it's her face value, figure, or cultural qualities, it's not something you, a poor man from the countryside, can get your hands on." To be honest, back then, if she had randomly chosen any of the guys I picked for her, she would have accomplished more than that now, right? With Fang Qing's face value and figure, it was true that she could find any kind of rich man, and her mother-in-law had set her up with several matches back then, and they were either the ones who owned companies and were bosses, or the ones who were engaged in engineering. I gritted my teeth and said, "Right. But is being pretty and well-built and highly cultured a reason she can cheat? She had to marry you, I couldn't stop her, I could only let her be capricious. But essentially, you simply can't last long, so I'm very relieved that she's divorced. My daughter is so good, even if she remarries, she will pick someone else, but you are different. With your family conditions, it's all very difficult to find a suitable one again." Mother-in-law's tone was thick with sarcasm. That mocking and contemptuous face was exactly the same as when I married Fang Qing back then. "Mom, did you say so much just to humiliate me?" I was humiliated inside and asked through clenched teeth. As I spoke, I felt like there was a fire being suppressed in my chest that could explode out at any time. Mother-in-law sneered, "Oh, do you deserve to be humiliated by me? I'm trying to tell you that my daughter has been married to you for so many years. Even if you want a divorce, you'll have to net out." "On what grounds?" I stared at her angrily, unbelievably saying, "The one who cheated on her was Fang Qing. What right do I have to leave the house with a clean slate? Bullying, there's no such thing as bullying, right?" I said, "It doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong." Mother-in-law said blandly. She didn't care in the slightest whether her daughter Fang Qing had done anything wrong or not. She only cared about how the property would be distributed after the divorce. She even thought about helping Fang Qing find her next family. My heart is sad. Think about all these years, in order to please the old man and mother-in-law, not to mention the New Year's festivals. The old man's cervical spine is not good. I bought the best massage instrument to him. Mother-in-law sprained her leg. In the middle of the night, I drove her to the hospital. The elevator was broken. I carried her to the 6th floor. And brother-in-law, still playing mahjong in the mahjong parlor, said he did not have time to come over. These years, I am filial to them, than their own son, more dedicated. I have not been so filial to my parents. Now that I think about it, I really owe my parents too much. However, despite this, no matter how hard I try, I still can't get into my mother-in-law's eyes. She still can't see me. I know, with her to talk about it is no use. Clenched my teeth, I said, "Fang Qing hiding is useless, I must be divorced. As for what you said about leaving the house, that's impossible. I'm not a calculating person, so I'll just get divorced, but if you guys have to tear yourselves apart, then I don't care. Big deal, one shot, one break." "Oh, a two-shot. You're scaring me." Mother-in-law sneered and laughed. I shook my head. No, there's no such thing as who's scaring who, I just want to show my own attitude. Let Fang Qing stop avoiding me, come out to talk earlier and end it sooner. Okay, you can think about it. You go, by the way, don't call me mom again, I don't feel comfortable hearing it. Mother-in-law said and was about to close the door. I nodded and smiled miserably. Oh, I understand. Coming out of my mother-in-law's house, my heart was already a pool of dead water. From start to finish, she didn't even let me enter her home, and, with the conversation between the two of us, it was basically established that Fang Qing and I were completely torn apart. Although it was a bit of a loss, I don't know why, but my heart was much lighter instead. After so many years, I no longer had to grovel to their home, currying favor with them, and sticking my hot face on their cold ass. Back in the car, I held my cell phone and froze as I looked at Fang Qing's number. I was hesitating whether to call it or not. What exactly does Fang Qing mean? It's come to this point, isn't divorce the best choice for both people? She stole the paternity report, how long can she delay it? Even if we delay it, what's the point? I am definitely getting a divorce. She cheated on me first and gave birth to 3 wild seeds. I didn't take a kitchen knife to chop people like Li Li said, it's already the limit of my patience. Thinking of Li Li, I hurriedly gave her a call. Hey, what's up again? Li Li's tone of voice changed after she got acquainted with me. But I didn't have the mood to chat with her, and went straight to the point. That paternity report was stolen, can you print another copy over to me on your side? It's the best evidence for my divorce. Li Li pondered and said, yes, but a paternity test done by a private person is not legally valid. My suggestion is that you'd better go for a judicial appraisal, so that it can be used as strong evidence in court proceedings. Don't you have a sample with us? Why don't you come over tomorrow to get it, and get another forensic appraisal? Okay, thanks R. Hee, what are you polite for? Well, Liu Feng, when it comes to things, you still need to deal with it calmly, don't be impulsive. I know. After hanging up the phone, I returned home. The original happy, warm and lively home is now silent and empty, just me. Sitting on the sofa, I smoked a few cigarettes, my mind was in a mess. Because I still can't figure out why Fang Qing is avoiding me. I couldn't figure it out, so I could only look for other people to help me with my research, and flipped through my address book, finally realizing that it was only Shulang. Buzz. I was about to call Shulang for advice when I didn't expect that he would call me instead. Chapter 15 Showdown. Hey son, what's going on? I just picked it up and Shulang's voice came from the other end of the phone. It was noisy, as if it was in the night market. Fuck off. The lawyer you said you'd find for me last time, how's it going? I wasn't in the mood to joke with him and said irritably. What's wrong with you? Oh, the results are out. Shulang said, as if he ran to a quiet place, which continued, I'll come over to you tomorrow, the lawyer I've already contacted, don't worry, surely reliable. I nodded my head and said, okay, I'll wait for your call tomorrow. Why don't you come over and have a drink, your heart will feel better. Shulang knew I was in a bad mood and said. No, I'm tired and want to sleep. Hang up. I shook my head and directly hung up the phone. After taking a shower, I didn't go to the bedroom to sleep, but came to the small room, because as soon as I saw that there were still various traces of Fang Qing's existence in the bedroom, my heart was blocked. Lying on the bed, my mind was chaotic, like a mass of paste, with all sorts of complicated thoughts iterating. Ding dong. Ding dong. I was tossing and turning, unable to sleep when the doorbell rang outside. Who would come looking for me at this late hour? I got up to open the door, and the moment it opened, I was flabbergasted. It was actually Fang Qing who had returned. She had been avoiding me, not wanting to show her cards to me, and now she appeared again. What did she mean? I hadn't reacted yet, but Fang Qing acted like nothing, blankly glanced at me and said with a smile, what are you looking at? Don't recognize me. My face was gloomy, and I said indifferently, I used to know you, but I don't know you now. You're back just in time, let's talk about the divorce. After saying that, I turned around and left. And Fang Qing followed behind, closed the door, kicked off her high heels without panicking, walked to the living room and said, oh, Liu Feng, are you in such a hurry to get rid of me? You have to get a divorce, don't you? Fine, let's divorce. Looking at her indifferent attitude, at this moment, I really want to rush up and beat her up. Derailed, she does not seem to feel the slightest sense of what she did wrong, but put on a dead pig is not afraid of boiling water posture. Doesn't she have a trace of guilt in her heart? Or is it that she never loved me at all, so she doesn't feel sad, and she doesn't care about this marriage of ours? I clenched my fists, and stiffly resisted the urge to do anything, because violence can't solve the problem, it's better to just get along. Besides, she's a woman no matter what. What shameless thing have you done, don't you know in your own heart? I held back my anger, tried hard to calm myself down, and said, okay, since you agreed to a divorce, then it's good to talk, let's sit down and talk about the distribution of property. Wait. I was about to take the next step, but Fang Qing waved her hand and said, I did promise to divorce, however, not now. Even if the two of us want to divorce, it's me who first proposed to kick you out. When and how to divorce, it's not for you to make the decision. What do you mean? I grimaced and asked. Fang Qing, however, said indifferently, I came back today, not to argue with you, I'll take some things and leave. The matter of divorce, I will consider it, you wait for my notice. From the moment she came in, she was busy, packing up clothes in the check room. It turned out that she didn't come back to beg for my forgiveness, let alone talk to me about divorce, but to pack up her things and leave the house. I suddenly felt inexplicable heartache, and hated myself even more. From beginning to end, Fang Qing did not feel guilty, nor a trace of reluctance. This feeling has been I alone in the self-touching only. I didn't feel reluctant to give up, I just felt that Fang Qing was too heartless. Standing in the living room, I watched as Fang Qing busied herself, finished packing her clothes, and then began to pack her cosmetics. Over the years, she never skimped on her own home closet. 80% are her clothes, those cosmetics start to 4,000 or 5,000 a set, a small bottle of what serum, I do not understand, to more than $1,000. Fang Qing often hangs on the side of the mouth of a sentence is, women should love themselves. And, also often say to me what, love people such as flowers, so Liu Feng, you have to love me more, care about me, anything to spoil me and so on. In the past, I just think that Fang Qing is the kind of small woman, so with me pampering is kinda cute. But now I realize that she's not cute, she's selfish. Actually, it's nothing to spend some money. But she cheated on me, that's the bottom line I can't tolerate. Look at your angry face. As for that, didn't I just make a mistake that a normal woman would make? You're not willing to forgive me even if it's not enough, but you also look bitter and hateful, as if I really owe you something. Seeing that I was standing with a cloudy face and hadn't said anything, Fang Qing instead took the initiative to open her mouth and laughed in a relaxed tone. Liu Feng, you have to understand that you didn't lose out when I married you. All these years, I've been with you, it's you who has earned it, the best youth of my life has been spent on you, you know. As soon as I heard this, I exploded. What did you say? Tell me again that you just made a small mistake. What are you doing so loud? You want the whole neighborhood to hear you? Fine, then you can yell. Fang Qing didn't show any weakness at all, raised her eyebrows and said lightly, was what I said wrong? Yes, I cheated on you, but there was a reason for that. During that period of time, for the sake of promotion, you didn't stay home all day long, either you got drunk and came back and fell into bed, I didn't even have the chance to talk to you. I can't even talk to you. To put it mildly, you can't even satisfy me when I need something, so I have to solve the problem by myself. Let me ask you, have you considered my feelings? You blame me. I work so hard, working overtime day and night, socializing outside, I don't know how many times I've puked from drinking alone, do you think I'm willing? Do you think I want to? Your dad, your mom, and your brother, do they look down on me? I was a little emotional, so aggrieved that my tears fell. I could only try to bite my lips to keep myself from crying out, saying, in the past, every New Year's holiday, your mom sneered and said that I was incapable, and that I would suffer for the rest of my life if you married me. I worked my ass off to move up the ladder, and it wasn't until I was promoted to sales manager and bought her a dress over $8,000 for New Year's Eve that she smiled. Who am I doing all this for? Oh, it's all for me, is it? Fang Qing sneered. I said angrily, I've worked so hard just to prove to your parents that marrying me, your choice wasn't wrong. I just want you to have a better life and want your parents to look up to me. You think I'm willing to be so tired? You think I wanted to drink all that wine on my own? Did I used to drink? No, but I had to learn to survive. If I threw up once, I drank a second time. Do you think I'm comfortable being a grandson to others at the drinking table? Was I born to be a bitch? Chapter 16, Destruction of the Three Views of Speech. I was a bit emotional and continued. In the first year of our marriage, my parents took the initiative to pay a visit from the countryside with their belongings. I called your mom and she said she was on her way. As a result, my parents waited at the door until it was dark without even going into your house to sit down for a while. Do you know what your mom said when she came back? Fang Qing flinched and didn't say anything. In front of so many neighbors, your mom humiliated my parents for being from the countryside. She never acknowledged this marriage. It's you who are young and capricious. She can't control it as a parent, so let us be boyfriend and girlfriend for a few years. My parents were kicked out in disgrace. They didn't even have a bite to eat. I exclaimed excitedly. These things, I don't know. Moreover, you didn't mention it to me. Fang Qing was a little embarrassed and said. I gritted my teeth and said, of course you don't know. It doesn't matter if she talks about me or scolds me, but I'm going to fight for my parents. I want your parents to look up to them. Fang Qing wryly said, my mom is just saying that. I think you might be taking it seriously. But these are not reasons for you to be busy. Liu Feng, I left my best youthful years to you, but what did you do? Do I need these financial conditions? Do I care how much money you make a month? If I'm that kind of materialistic woman, why did I pick you in the first place? Can't I find a rich man with my qualifications? I laughed miserably and said, yeah, whatever you say is right. Anyway, when there was no money, you didn't need the tenderness of accomplishing nothing. You wanted me to be enterprising and progressive. When there is money, you said with me, not because of how much money, just want you to be with me more. Oh, anyway, how? You have a reason. There's a reason for cheating, there's a reason for divorce. In short, you're right, you're the center of the world, it's everyone else who's wrong, right? Is that what I mean? Fang Qing frowned, bit her lip, and said, I admit that I indulged myself that time. I just felt that, being with you, it was too depressing. You didn't care about me at all. But the child, it was really an accident. I didn't expect it either. Don't mention the child. Once I thought of the three sons were not my own, I immediately had an impulse to kill. Said, you still have the face to mention the children. 3 sons, 3 different dads, are the key. I'm not even one of them damn well. Oh, this is such a big joke that it could be on the news. Like I said, it was an accident. I didn't expect it either. Forget it, there's no point in explaining it to you. Fang Qing had a calm face. From her face, I couldn't see the slightest bit of guilt. She looked at me and actually asked, Liu Feng, let me ask you, do you still love me? Hearing these words, I suddenly felt a little nauseous. Especially, coming from Fang Qing's mouth. I don't know why, but when I looked at her pretty face, I actually couldn't bring up the slightest bit of interest. Instead, I felt disgusted. Love? Fang Qing, do you think you're worthy of saying the word love too? Don't insult it, okay? I said with a cold smile. Hee, you're too paranoid. Fang Qing shook her head, not caring at all about my ridicule. Instead, she looked at me seriously and said, Liu Feng, what you mind is nothing more than the fact that I slept with another man and cuckolded you, and you're not comfortable in your heart. What if, I let you go outside to find a woman too? Are you sick? Am I this kind of person? As a result of all these years, have I ever done anything wrong to you? I asked angrily. Fang Qing, however, laughed easily. I know you haven't, otherwise, I would have already let you go clean. But what I'm saying now is that I allowed it. After so many years, aren't you tired of it? In fact, as long as you don't develop feelings for another woman, I won't mind. But it's just a game to solve physical needs. What's wrong with that? Back home, we're still a loving couple, and everyone seeks pleasure. Isn't that bad?